from Kathyskutekreations. Today I'm going to be bringing you the new cotton cut that has just started. So I just got my pre-cut fabrics. I am on Team Cranium. Here are the colors. Back it up a little bit. And then the back of it is the welcome. So it says, "Welcome to the Fall 2020 Puzzle Mystery Quilt. Are you game?" That's the name of it. The last one was the name of the rose. This one's called Are You Game? It's their 8th puzzle mystery quilt, and they're excited about this design from their partner, Sheila Christensen. I went ahead and I bought the small ones, and they're letting you know when you get this kit that sometimes accidents happen. I've said this before. If you don't get enough of the little pre-cuts or the fabric is wrong, you just notify them. They'll fix the mix-up, okay? They're really, really good out there. And let me show you. So when you get your pattern, which is to make the block, always up here at the top, it will tell you your size, small or large. So if you open up your package right off the bat and you see that you had bought a large one and it says small, you know it's wrong, so then you want to contact them. And it always tells us there's 1 of 10 blocks. So next month it'll be 2 of 10, 3 of 10. That's how you can keep track of it. Now I keep all these patterns set aside when I'm done. This is clue 1. You get a package. I mean, the paper looks like this on the front, and then you're making it on the back. On the front part, this is where you're going to make sure that your pieces are what you received. So I lay them out in the order that they are. For example, let me show you here. Let me get my thing. Okay, so A, B, C, even though they're different, they're C, and then this is D, D, and E. Although there is an F, it is not going to be in this block. Give you another look here. A, B, C, D, E, F. F has not come. It's not going to be in the block. And then it has all the information about emailing and everything on the back. Also in this month, we have a block of the month, which is an Irish chain. And they give you that. And then you can color it on the back. So this way you can decide what colors you want to make it. And then also we got a deck of cards. Looks like that. Okay? Alrighty, so let's get started. That I'm going to use this time around in this block. First thing for the directions, it wants us to join our triangles C and E. There's only 2 sets of triangles, and we're going to make all 8 of them. This is the C and this is the E. We're going to end up measuring 3.5 inch square when we're all finished. And we're going to go ahead and chain stitch them. I will sew this one. I'll grab one of these and put it up there and sew it. I'm not going to use any pins this time around. I'm using a 12-inch needle, and I'm using the color thread which I showed you. My stitch is 2.5 inches. So remember, this is 1/4 inch, and the advantage of this fabric that's pre-cut is all the tips are cut off. And when I say tips, I mean the ends. So if you look on this fabric right here, and make sure we can see it, this has been cut off, so there's no corner tip, so this won't go through your machine down inside the hole there. Of course, if you have a straight stitch only machine, then your little hole, instead of it being oblong, it's going to be a circle. So we're just going to take our time, and we're going to do one at a time. There we go. Then I'm just going to bring another one up here, and I want you guys to do the same thing. If you're following along, you can tell me what your team is down below. But I think I'm going to. And I think we're on block 8, I think, of the last one that we're doing. I'm not quite sure. But I'll tell you what, I'm having a hard time getting all these done and getting them all totally completed because, you know, I don't send mine out, I do them myself. Right now I'm in the process of making 2 baby blankets. So go ahead, everybody, finish sewing these up, and then we'll be right back for the next step. And now when you get done, you want to make sure that you want to press your fabric before you open it. It's called relaxing it. And if you want to open it up so that it's opened on both ends, that's fine. If you don't, I always press to the dark side unless it says something different. And let me see on my paper, what does it say? It says press Oh, actually it left out that part because it says join small triangles C and E, press towards, then there's a period, make 8. So they forgot which way to tell us to press. So I'm going to press towards the dark side, which is what I normally do. So let's go ahead and finish this up and we'll get started on the next combination. Okay. I'll come back and say, for those that have not sewn this before or sewn on the bias, and that is what this is, because this edge here actually stretches. This side doesn't and the bottom doesn't, but this part that we're sewing against does, and you want to make sure you don't stretch it, so don't do any kind of pulling on it. You want your sewing machine to pull it, okay? I'm not doing any kind of pulling and I'm not forcing it through. It's doing it all on its own, as you can see right there. And if you need to reinforce that, you can, and you can reinforce it very cheaply with a piece of paper. You can also use tissue paper, like the kind that you use for wrapping presents, that kind of thing. Or you can use your own paper that you have set aside for paper piecing. If you do paper piecing projects and you have paper that you use for that, you can use that also. You can use anything you want. You can even use the little, whoop, I just put it up too. Let me get it out of the drawer real quick and I'll show you. This bias tape, let me see if I can get that in there you go. If you wanted to do that to hold the pieces together, I guess you could also go ahead and spray it with some of the spray, the adhesive spray. Now, if you don't want to do any of that, then the next thing you could actually do is iron it really, really good, and this end right here will get really, really stiff from ironing. And if you want to do any kind of starching, I know that these are already cut, so you can't starch them before you cut them, but if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Your project will be a little bit smaller, your square will be, or instead of doing a 1/4 of an inch, you could sew it 1/8 of an inch, and then you won't lose the size of the block. But remember, if you ever want to make something a little bit bigger, you just add a little bit more sashing to it. All right, so go ahead and finish. I got 2 more to do. So they're all opened up, and now it wants us to make 4 strips that have C on the left, which is our rectangles, a C at the top, and an E at the bottom. Then they want you to take the remaining 4 rectangles and put the C at the bottom and the E at the top. So I've already split them up into stacks, and I will just chain stitch one after the other. Okay, so I went ahead and I pinned these at the end right here because I didn't want this to flip up or anything at all. So I just didn't want to have any issues with it. So while I'm sewing this right here, let me go ahead and I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Now, I'm not sponsored. I'm not, the Cotton Cuts did not buy me this. I have not talked to them. They haven't said anything about would you demonstrate sewing this, putting it together, or anything. So therefore, I feel like I can talk about anything I want on my channel while I'm doing this. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. It's not specifically the way that Cotton Cut does it. And I'm pretty sure they have somebody that does this for them. Okay, so, and I think even Yvette may, they might be giving kits to Yvette to make, I'm not sure. But anyway, and the reason I said this is because I'm going to talk to you about the video that I put up on Friday last week, which was the friendship block for the Creative Notions. Now, they did approach me, Creative Notions, and asked me if I would do the block, and I was flabbergasted that they asked me, and I was honored that they asked me because I wanted to make it. I thought it was great. Well, then I had forgot that Stampin' Sue, which is also a YouTuber, if anybody wants to go over there and subscribe to her channel, she also is making one of the blocks. Now, I knew that Becca was making a few, so she made the first block. Yvette is going to be making the paper pieced blocks. I don't know how many they are. I haven't looked in my book to check it out, but that's what she's doing because, you know, that's the thing she does. And she has a, I'm not quite sure how to word that you can join the group where she teaches paper piecing, and I believe it's $10 a month. You can join that, and then you have access to that website specifically. Now that's only open during certain times of the year. She has it opened and you can join, and then she closes it for a while. But anyway, So I knew the two of us were doing the blocks for the Creative Notion. And that is, let me get the book real quick and I'm going to show you where that's coming out of. And you do not have to own that book, nor do you have to be a member of the box of the month for Creative Notion. If you are a member, you may have received this in your box if you were a member at the time that this was given in one of the boxes. Now this is Creative Notions I'm talking about. And let me get to the page because I've got this shut right now. Okay, hold on one second. January shows this block, the Churn Dash quilt. And then when you go to February, there's the Friendship block, Star block, which is what I did on my video last week. And then there is another one here, whoops, in March. This is the Ohio Star block. So each month, it shows you another one. And I believe that when I opened it, the first thing I thought about was, oh my gosh, I wonder if all these patterns are in this and we can make them. So that's what Creative Notions, she got along with, or they got together, because Andre is part of Creative Notions, that, you know, that she has a lot of girls that help her out, a lot of women. I shouldn't say girls, but anyway. So Andrea contacted me and wanted to know if I wanted to do a block. So every single month in here, all the way through December, so that's 12, we're all going to be doing a block, and then we're going to send the blocks to Vicki. That's the lady that is the creative mind, I might say, behind the Creative Notions. She's the lady that started the business, and we're going to send all of our blocks to her. She's going to put it all together, and then it's going to be given away. So if you want to follow along on the Facebook, you can join it, and I believe there's some questions to ask. They're simple questions about quilting, you know. I don't remember what the questions are, but they're not hard questions for you to answer. I don't believe she's turned down anybody to join the Facebook. You can go and check it out. So people that make the blocks and do the projects from the box and everything, they put them up, but there's announcements all the time. And so she's going to give the announcement to this. And she also did a block herself. So far I believe there's been 3 blocks made. I'm trying to think if, I think Sue made hers too. So Becca's made one, I made one, Sue made one, and Vicki made one. So there must have been 4 made. But we're going to get them all done before the end of the year. So we're doing more than one a month, just to give you guys the heads up on that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up these. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, instead of this end, I think I'm going to press it towards this end over here because of this bulk. Otherwise, you're going to end up with 5 pieces of fabric, 2, 4, 5. And I'd rather go this way, and they can each end up with 3. Get them finished, and you've got them open. They look like that. So there's 4 with the E going at the top, and 4 with them going at the bottom. Now the next step, which is 4, says to join A and B, and then A and D, and then B again. And it's going to make 4, so I have this set out, and then I've stacked these up in order so that I can do them also. So I'll go ahead and I'll chain stitch them. I think to make it faster is I'm going to join the first 2. These are together. Then I'm going to join the next 2, and then I will add the last one. And I've got to let you know that this fabric never lets me down, because this is the softest fabric. And every one of these cotton cuts that I have made has had the same kind of soft fabric. I really enjoy sewing with it. I'm trying to think, which side do I want up and which one do I want down? I think I might want that up. Let's see if this is right. I'm going to go ahead and put these together so I can show you the one strip before we make them all. I'm taking the first 2 pieces that I completed and I'm attaching them. You can take these fabrics and go ahead and sew them together, and after you've gotten your square that they're showing you, you can turn around and make anything you want out of it. You can make multiple projects. I mean, you could even make a purse, a bag. When you get it done, it looks like this. It measures 8 by 5. We'll set it aside, and then I will chain stitch the rest. And what I'm doing, these together, all of them, I got 3 of them left. Then I'm going to sew these together, Then I'm going to sew these two sets to each other and then add this one. That's the way I'm chain stitching them. You don't have to do it that way. That's the way I'm doing it. I feel like that's the fastest way. And notice I'm not pinning any of them. I'm just literally holding them. Now I had to stop and iron some of this fabric because it got wrinkled in my box on the way here. All apart, let's iron them. Oh, actually we're going to attach them before we iron them. Let's do that. I'll wait when I'm totally finished putting them all together. That's when I'll iron them. It's easier. Alright, so this is a little bit trickier to hold on to if you're fairly new. So if you have to pin it, you can. And just hold on to it here. Now we're going to cut all these apart. There's only 3 of them. And then we're going to add this last piece on. Just make sure you add it to the right piece. So you're looking at the dark one to add it to. You have them ironed. They'll look like this. There's all 4 of them. And now we're going to build the blocks. And there's going to be 4 identical blocks built with these 3. Alrighty. You want to see an E at the bottom here and an E at the top here. Okay, so we're going to put these together. We're going to do the 2 C's up here and the E down there. Starts with an A, ends with a B. C up here, C down here, and an E. So the 2 E's are going together, and that's how we're going to make it. So we'll go ahead and we'll chain stitch, and I'm going to do all of the top ones to the middle, and then those 2 to the bottom. I checked it. I did not lose my tip. I'm happy with it. And now I took this pin out here of this one, which is fine. I can repin that. I don't have a problem there. And now I can go back up at the top and start over. I'll go start up here at this end, and I will meet up to that spot. But this way, if you feel like you're not that good of a sewer and you don't want to have to take the entire seam out, then start right down here where you've marked your fabric. Come off, check it. If you like it, fine. If you don't, and you think you've got to take it out, it's a lot less to take out this one little area than the entire strip. So let's go ahead and continue with this one. I'm going to show you up at the other end. So you just go up here to the top, just like you were beginning with it. And we're going to meet up with this. And by crossing over it, you're actually locking your... You can stop right there. And you can see where I've gone over it twice, because it's a little bit darker in thread right here. That locks that in. And then we'll open it up, and it's fine. And if you feel like that's too far away and you want to go a little bit closer, you can go a little bit closer. Let me go ahead and get the next 2 done. You get your last 2 done, and then we'll come back here and I'll show you how to do the next one. We're going to do the other end. Remember, we're going to look for the 2 pieces that cross right here. And we're going to put our little dot. And then we're going to mark it with our ruler. Just like this. And then this is the same piece that you have to go. Gonna go like this. Like that. And we're gonna nestle these, remember? So we have to take them and we're matching them up right along that seam line right there. And I'm putting my pin on the left hand side. And then I go to the end down here. And this is the way that I pin. I line it up. Get my pin off the edge a little bit. And then find that first seam. And you can feel it. And then I go down here to the end. And then I find the next one. And the last one right here. And this is the way that I pin them. And then flip it over and you can see they're all going this direction. And then we're going to go ahead and sew it. So get them all pinned up like that. Finishing it up, and I started sewing. My granddaughter was up here and I forgot to turn the video on, but that's okay. Let me see if I can get up on that. Now remember that if it's a little All right. That really does not want to come. So grab it on this back side if you need to pull it to you. Just to get it over the bumps or whatever. I could have used this little, if you can see this little black thing here, if you push that in, I have to turn my foot off here. So if you push that in, yep, let's see, what's going on here? There we go. Well, okay, so if you push it in, and you put this down, and now it's not thick enough, but normally when it's thick, it'll hold the back fabric up. But I didn't think about that a minute ago when I was having issues, so I just pulled it through. So we have a visitor in the sewing room. Charlie has come to visit. That's my daughter's grandson. That's my daughter's dog.
I didn't know your daughter had a grandson.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. I didn't even see you standing there. Alright, let me get the next one. So you guys go ahead and chain stitch all of these. Let me get that pin out of there. And when we get done, we'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and iron towards the middle. So when I ironed this, I made sure that all of this went towards the middle fabric. And that's what I'm going to do on this other end because I don't want all this fabric on top of it. So go ahead and finish sewing. Okay, and I'll be back. Finished with all 4 blocks. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. You can click on that little bell so that you'll get notices of when the next one comes up. They'll come out every month. I will put the information in the description below. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye. So I came back real quick because I wanted to know if anybody recognized this fabric. Do you guys recognize this fabric? Think about it a minute. Is it ringing a bell? I bet you guys are remembering it now. And so now you know where it came from and why it looks familiar if you're a Creative Notions subscriber and you get a box every month. That came in one of the boxes. I knew I had seen it before and I really liked it when I saw these colors, and for the life of me I could not think of where I saw it. Charlie. There's Charlie. Charlie and Lainey. Close-ups.